mean, there's nothing more gratifying. I think, well, I was taught by the great Paul Samuelson, who in 1948 brought out the first modern economics textbook, and he said somewhere along the line that you can have the politicians as long as you let me write the textbooks, right? This is what you really do. This is the most important thing. What Robin and I do in the textbook, our sort of guiding principle is to always make it clear how much the models, the funny diagrams are tied to reality. And we have a feature in the textbook every 3 or 4 times a chapter. We stop for an economics in action, which is a real world case that illustrates what we've been doing. And those are actually the hardest part of the book, because we're constantly searching for good economics in action cases. And that's, I think, what we tried to do is not make this, here is a bunch of formal stuff that you have to memorize, but look, here's something that can help you understand what happened to food prices in early 2008. Here's something that can help you understand why Japan got caught in a slump that went on for a decade. This is the stuff that it's the constant linking to the real world that I think we've tried to do to make as a distinctive feature of this book. A good principles course, taught by a good person, is just a mind-opening experience. It doesn't work that way for everybody, but if it does, it's just, I remember from my undergraduate days that there were, I think probably 3 or 4 courses I took that really, I felt, changed my life. One of them was a course in philosophy. One of them was a course in poetry. One of them was Ec 10. Right? It's a mind-opening experience. How exactly it will change your life, if you go into the business world, it'll help. If you go into a lot of areas, it'll be some practical use. But I think, especially if you're a freshman, what you want to be doing is you are exposing yourself to a whole world of thought, which is about something that matters to everybody. And if you approach it in the right attitude, and of course if it's taught well, then you are going to find that your whole vision of the way the world is going to change. What I would say is that writing a principles textbook, one thing it does is it actually pulls you back from the controversies. Most of what you do if you're a professional economist is you work on the areas where there are disputes, where there's stuff you don't know, or where people think they know, but unfortunately they think they know different things. When you write a principles book, a lot of it is about the stuff that we actually have nailed down, and it's a restorative process. It makes you feel better about economics to write a principles book. But it also is, one thing I felt that we really learned, Robin and I really learned in doing this, is that you need to reconnect with how people who have not been immersed in economics see the world. We found that trying to get the human dimension back in was really important. It's funny, we write about things that we thought of as dramatic, important events. And on the first draft, they come out just totally dry. We say, Argentina had an 18% fall in per capita GDP. And then realize that doesn't mean anything to people. And then we go back to talking about what was actually happening to Argentine families during their great crisis of 2002. And then you say, this is what a drastic fall in GDP means in human terms. That was something new, for me anyway. The relevance of economics. I mean, every textbook in economics has some discussion of bank runs, some allusion to the crises of the 1930s. And I think a lot of students, this just was, well, that happened to my grandfather or my great-grandfather. What does that have to do with me? And then there we were in 2007, 2008, having the 21st century version of those bank runs. They looked different. There was more people clicking furiously on their mouses rather than pounding on the doors of closed banks. But there was in fact very much the same kind, in a broad sense, of financial crisis happening that had happened. So in a way, you could say this is not in a good way, unfortunately, but the textbooks really came to life with the current financial crisis, and that's there's been no stronger advertisement than I can think of for the relevance of economics.